there, Sandra here from Create in Spain. A little while ago I made a video on how to do a scan and cut. Now I'm going to show you an alternative using your phone and not putting it through the scan to cut portion of Shortcut Slot, but doing it without registration marks. Yeah, making this supremely easy for you to actually put outlines around your stamped images. So here I have a stamped image, and hopefully you can see that I have put it within a square border. Now I printed off a load of borders which were 6 centimeters square, just for the purpose of being able to cut out stamps. Now I could do a whole big sheet, it doesn't make any difference what size paper they're on. I can do as many stamps as I feel I want to. I could even do stamps which have been stamped over each other and get a whole cut outline for an entire lot. I'm not limited by doing this. But the problem is, if you are going to do what I'm going to do, and that's use a camera on a phone in order to get an image of this to put onto my laptop and put in my software, I need to make sure that it's lined up properly, that it's squared, that it is in the correct orientation in order to get things done and done well. So how best to do that? Well, I'm going to go into my camera, and you probably can't tell, but I actually have grid lines set on my camera. Now to do this on an iPhone, you go into the settings, you scroll down to camera, and then under your camera settings you have the option to put a grid on the screen. Now this is invaluable for lining things up, and it means that if I put my camera over my image, I can use those lines to line up with the horizontal and the vertical lines so that I know that I'm not doing this. Okay, I'm going to have my image straight. What it doesn't do is stop me doing that, because I can still have those grid lines horizontal matched up with those corners and things, but I could still be doing that and my image is going to be skewed. Don't want that. So enter a plastic cup. It could be almost anything, but this is approximately 12 or 15 centimeters high and gives me the ability to place my camera horizontally, perpendicularly to the surface that I'm working on. So what I do is I place my camera on the top of there and I make sure it's not wobbly, and then I can line up my horizontal lines here with my horizontal lines there, and I know that when I press the button, take the picture, I'm going to get a horizontal image that is exactly as it should be. It's not going to be skewed either this way, side to side, back to front. It's going to be as it should be, and I can take my picture. So I'm going to take my picture here. There we go. When I go to look at my picture, I can edit it and rotate it. So I'll go to the edit and I want to rotate it. So I'll press on that one, and the rotation little symbol is at the top here, and I can rotate it until it's up the right way for me. There we go. So let me see if I can zoom in a bit here. Okay, hopefully you can see that. Right, so I have a bounding box around my image, but I can already see that it is truly as it should be, horizontal. But I can now bring this in to encompass what I want it, what I want it to actually hold on to. And I'll bring that in a little bit more. So I still want to be able to see those corners that I've put in. And I'm going to click done, like that. Now I can send that via AirDrop to my laptop, and I'm going to show you what I do with it when I take it into Shortcut Slot. But you could probably do the same thing in Silhouette Studio or probably any other cutter software that I don't have experience with. Studio I do, but not for a while. So I'm going to go to my computer now and show you what to do with it. Now I've imported my stamped image into my Shortcut Slot software, and it's in the trace function at the moment. So I've got this set up so that it's going to crop, and I can take this and I can move my crop lines up a bit. I didn't want that little bit in there at all. Now I've got it on black out there, and so I'm going to update the preview, and my cut line seems to be round about right, so I'm just going to go to OK that. Now yes, I know it looks weird because it's a blackout shadow, and yeah, it does look somewhat strange, so I'm going to remove the colour from there just so we can see what's going on. So I know that the outside of this image is precisely 6 centimeters. In reality, it's obviously not 6 centimeters on my screen there, or indeed on the mat. And I do notice I stamped my image a little bit too close to the right hand side, which I probably shouldn't have done, but there we go. I'm going to break everything apart and take out anything that I can possibly remove. I don't really want the eyebrows in there, but actually I could leave those. I could leave them. I'm going to take those out, take the extra lines out from the eyes if I can. Or is that all one? No, that's all one line, I think, so I can't very well do that. No, I don't think it's going to let me. No, it won't. Okay, let's undo that. So if I take this and I put an offset on it, whoops, or even actually make it a union path, let's see what that does. No, that didn't do anything. Okay, so I'm going to go to effects, and I'm just going to put a small shadow layer on it, and I'm going to go for outline only and click on OK, and I'm going to see if I can remove the inside bit, which I have. And now, because these are actually separate lines, I'll be able to remove the other bits that I don't want as well by breaking things apart and taking out those eyes there. Now I still have those two, which, because I've only put a tiny little offset, they're not actually joined onto anything. So I'll actually remove those as well. I might as well. I can always draw them in afterwards if I want to. So I have my image, but it's obviously a lot bigger than 6 centimeters at the moment. So I'm just, for the time being, going to group that again, and I'm going to resize it. And I want to put in 6.0, and I want to make sure that goes to 6.0 as well. And so that is the same size as my stamped image. Now at the moment, it would be cutting all the way up there, which obviously is not what I actually want. I want it to cut in the position that I had it down in the corner. So I want to go to the right and the bottom. Now this is because I am setting the cutter to WYSIWYG. And it's going to cut that selection only, and it's going to cut it from this being its origin point. If you have a different machine, different software, maybe different cutter, your origin point may be, I don't know, the top left or something. I can't remember what it was on the silhouette. But anyway, I know that my origin point is there, and it's going to cut it precisely there. So I'm going to go back to my actual physical card now and show you what goes on when you put it on the mat. Okay, so I've just shown you what I do in Shortcut Slot to get the outside trace line. What I forgot to mention is that on the workspace, once I've got it positioned, I ungroup it and I just erase these corners with the eraser so that I only have that image, because I don't want it to cut these bits. So when it goes to the cutter, all I have to do is put my blade on the origin point, which is going to be there. and it's going to cut that out precisely. I have two here that I cut earlier, one I've coloured, one I haven't bothered with yet, and as you can see I've managed to cut them out pretty well. So that doesn't actually take very long to do, and it's a quicker way of doing it than it is to actually put it into the scan to cut system on Shortcuts a lot. And it works really well, and there's no reason why you can't use that with, I think, pretty much any software that you use with your cutting machines. Okay, that's it. Hope you enjoyed it and found it useful. Take care now. Bye bye.